being recorded, so we will get started. Thank you for joining this month's monthly town hall for associates. My name is Tom Sun, the chairperson for the associate mentorship committee for the SCPGA section. I'd like to thank all of you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us today. Hopefully this next hour or so will be informative and educational and making you a better professional going forward. We have today our special guest. His name is Ed Wienecke. He is currently our PGA of America business and career consultant, resides in Southern California, so we're very lucky and fortunate to have him as part of our section, helping all of the professionals trying to advance their careers. If I may, this is going to be a Q&A session, and that's how we'll proceed with this town hall. This is the last town hall of the year. Obviously, we started the town hall in April of this year, and we've had seven. This is our seventh town hall. We've had different agenda, different guest speakers, and I think they've all been pretty informational and educational, and also fun. So let's make this a very interactive, fun session for those who are on the call today. So let me just get started with a quick introduction of Mr. Wienecke. He's been in the industry for over 30 years, working all facets of the golf industry to include outside services, assistant professional, head professional director of golf, general manager, regional manager, executive director for PGA, and now PGA of America career consultant. Ed is highly educated. He is certified PGA professional in 6 areas of expertise, and is also a certified club manager with the Club Management Association of America. Ed has served on many boards to include 4 separate chapters, Southern California section board for 9 years, and also served the Northern California section for 7 years. Many accolades for Ed, including Golf Professional of the Year in 3 separate chapters, was awarded the 2010 Golf Professional of the Year in the Southern California section, in 2017 Golf Professional of the Year in Northern California section, the only professional to ever achieve this status. So great to have Ed on our town hall today. And my first question to you, Ed, if I may, I just wanted to ask you, over your 30 successful years in the golf industry, I know there was a moment in time where someone or some event, some experience just got you started in this great path of yours. Can you explain or articulate, was there any moment in time where there was some event experience that got you started in this great industry of ours?
Well, thanks, Tom. Thanks for having me tonight. Thanks to the SCPGA for this opportunity, and glad to be here. So thank you. The answer to your question is a complex one, but I'll try to make it simple. Really, the turning point was I grew up in Colorado, and I started working at a golf course when I was 12. And so I had a passion for the game early on. As I continued to work at that golf course, and as I went on to high school and college, I moved out to California, and at my first opportunity, my first 6 months in California, I was actually trying to play professionally. It ended very quickly when I realized that I just wasn't as good as I thought I was. So everybody, maybe some people have gone through that, maybe some people haven't, but I did chase my dream for a very, very short while of trying to be a tour pro. And then I realized when I had that coming of age and wisdom that it wasn't going to be my thing. I made a promise to myself and the people around me and the people that helped me get to that point. If I couldn't be the best playing professional in my career, I was going to be the best PGA professional and the best golf professional. And that was what the turning point that made me focus all my energy and all my future about being the best PGA professional I could possibly be.
Thank you, Ed, for that answer. I just want to ask a quick question to Todd and Mark and Michael, who are on the call today. I just wanted to check whether, are you associates or members? I just wanted to see what your background real quickly, if I may.
I've been a member since 1994.
Oh, great. Thanks for joining, Todd. How about you, Mark?
Member since 2000.
Great. And how about you, Michael?
I've been a member since 2014.
All right, good. 94, 2000, and 2014. So we have very seasoned members on the call. Intention was to have associates, but I guess it's good to have members, especially experienced members on the call. I appreciate you joining us today. And so it's more geared towards, the questions were towards associates, but I just have to quickly, spontaneously figure out better questions, so it'll help the members on the call today. My first question to you, Ed, is, or my second question is, maybe the members who are on the call could take this answer and help associates as well. Is that, what are the biggest improvements do associates need to make going forward so they can become better, not only members, but future leaders of our association? Is there something that sticks out in your mind?
Is that a question for me, Tom, for now?
Yes, that's for you.
My answer to that is really widen their scope of work. And basically, when you talk about general improvements for associates, sometimes they can get pigeonholed and go down a path and get stuck in that rabbit hole. I would widely recommend that they widen their scope of work. And what I mean by that is, try to do more things at their own facility. I'm going to touch on that in a little bit later, but try to do some more things, ask questions, ask for more responsibility, and don't be afraid to take more onto your plate, because the more you can learn, that's really going to help you down the road. And so that's my, the biggest improvement right now generally is to widen their scope of work and ask and try to be better at what they do every single day.
Right. Okay. So my next question then is, Ed, based on your experience in the current position, which is a very important position, given especially the expansion of our business recently, what qualities are employees looking for? Maybe this will help Todd and Mark and Michael as well, but what are they looking for? What's that one wow factor that they're looking in terms of hiring?
Well, really they're looking for a well-rounded individual who has some different components that'll help, education, a strong desire to want to continue to do what they do and do it better every single day. You talked about the wow factor just a second ago. The third thing that I would mention is the it factor. And my whole career and people that I interview now and employers, when I'm talking to them about hiring general managers, head golf professionals, superintendents, first assistants, their jump to the big head pro position, that's always the toughest, right? Is the it factor. And the it factor is something you cannot put on a resume, and you either have it or you don't. And it can mean different things to different people, but employers are, and again, something to separate yourself. Okay. So, which is the it factor. If I'm looking at a stack of 30 resumes and critical factors employees are looking for, I'm looking at a stack of 30 resumes. There's got to be some separating factors. And one is something as simple as design, something as simple as taking the time to make it look different. The meat and potatoes is what's going to get you the job. But again, if you took the time, I'll give you one example. Early in my career, I put together a resume for an assistant professional at Augusta National. And I actually got a phone call. Well, what I did was that was a 3-page document in a custom leather bound binder that I had engraved on it. It cost me $150 to put one resume together to send to Augusta National. I got a phone call and I got an interview. those are the kind of things that are different maker. Again, I'm not saying everybody should spend $150 per resume when they send them out to a job. Again, a lot of it's electronically now, but I would still, try to do something different. If everybody's getting electric resume, an emailed resume or something online, maybe do something different. FedEx one overnight in a nice little package and send it to that. If this is going to be your dream job and change your career for the rest of your life, take the time to make it special. Those are the kind of things that employers are looking for, something that really changes their approach, what you do and how you do it. What you put on your resume and your background, obviously is going to speak volumes. But if I come down to 5 people and I have to make, and they're all equal, there's got to be some separated between those 5 that'll make a difference.
Great, thank you, Ed. This is a question that I like to know. I've been working with a lot of associates for a couple of years now as the associate chair person, and the motivation, the drive to become a member from an associate is great. With the association and so forth, we know the answer to that question, but what are the smart ways where not only associates but members seek a better compensation, more compensation? And so we're doing so much given the busyness of our facilities. How do we work with our employers to find smart ways to be compensated better?
Well, trying to improve your compensation can be, it sounds like a simple thing, but it can be, again, you're talking about something that is going to make a difference. It's something that a lot of people stumble early on, not knowing how to do it, how to ask for a raise. That's a tough one. My advice is to have a plan. And in order to create that plan, you've got to show your value. You've got to show what you did, how you did it, why you did it. Contact your career services consultant, i.e. me. I'd love to help you put your plan together. That's part of what we do. But I would also say that it's part of what I did in my career too. In order to ask for a raise, again, some employers or managers or head professionals, if it's an assistant professional, hopefully they're tasking you with goals and objectives throughout the year. Those goals and objectives will give you an opportunity to showcase what you've done that year. Those showcases of your goals and objectives are part of your plan that you present to your employer or to your boss or whoever you want to call them in order to plan out your raise and justify why you deserve a raise. But you've got to show it. You've got to plan for it. And I would say 9 times out of 10, you will get a raise, maybe not possibly shooting for the moon what you want, but if it's reasonable and the expectations are there and you're very good at what you do, you'll get your raise. I would say, I would also like to help people get more money than what they have now. And the reason why that's important, because everybody wants to make more money, but it's also showcasing, okay, if what's going to happen now, what's going to happen, what are my goals and objectives for next year? So get ahead of it. So not only saying what you've done, but take to the table what you can do and improve next year. Again, that shows your value. And that's constantly unfortunately, what a lot of associates don't do enough of is show their value. And maybe because they don't know how. So again, another reason why we're here to help, I'm here to help, is to do that.
Right. I think maybe because given this, the audience we have today, I'd like to maybe cut short the Q&A and then maybe just go through the audience directly and see if they have any questions for you as well, Ed. But my last question, if I may, is what general advice do you have for young professionals that could assist them, help them to really thrive and make a difference, make a positive impact to their careers? What is there anything that's magical words you could provide for us in terms of do this and you'll be successful?
I've got a few things that will help. I don't know if it's magic, but I know it definitely works. Education, any form of education raises your value. And that comes in many different forms. Networking, network. When I was a young professional, I would have a stack of business cards with me everywhere I went. And when I would play in a chapter event or a section event, one of the things I would do is I was there to network, because again, my playing career was behind me. I still wanted to play well and have fun, but I realized that the rest of my career, if I want to continue to meet people and advance my career, the more people I know, the better off I'm going to be. So literally, I would have cards in my pocket and I would walk up and down the practice facility on the putting green. If there was someone I didn't know, I'd walk up and meet them, introduce myself. Here's my card. I'm Ed Winecki. Like to email you sometime, call you sometime to get to know you a little better, find out what's going on over at ABC Country Club, et cetera, et cetera. Ask for their card. Most of the time they didn't have one on them, and that's fine. But I kept those communications going and was able to, throughout my career, make a tremendous amount of networking opportunities and a tremendous amount of friends on top of that as well. And that's helped me. It's also helped other people who in that same arena with their careers, and knowing someone who knows someone who knows someone. It's a small business, as we all know. And the more networked you are, the better off you're going to be, not just for today, but maybe a year from now or 3 years from now or 10 years from now. So that's the other thing. And then I would say get involved. I was able to get involved with when I was not a PGA professional. When I was an apprentice at the time, I was able to get on a chapter committee, and I loved it. And I felt really engaged with at chapter events. That led to being fortunate enough to be elected to the chapter board, and then a chapter officer, and so on and so forth. But I was willing to give back, and I was willing to put myself out there to meet more professionals, to learn more. I mean, I would also say, Tom, be a sponge, learn as much as you possibly can. And again, I keep going back to education and learning. Let me take a second, Tom, while we're on this subject. I got a few slides I want to show on this topic, if I could, for a second. And I can talk through these, and then we can go back to a few other Q&As
Sure.
as well. If that's okay.
Sounds good.
So one of the things that I think is so important, and most associates, I would even say many, a fair amount of head golf professionals don't do enough of this. And it's your career, it starts in your own backyard. That's a picture of sitting on a tee box looking out over the 10th fairway at a club. One of the things that I think is so important is learning internally. And we all get busy. We all know our staff members. We don't spend enough time with them learning from them. Can you go to the next slide, please? Your club has so much opportunity every single day, especially if you're an assistant professional. Networking with your superintendent, with your head golf professional, with your general manager, your controller, your chef, your food and beverage director, go to the next slide, is so valuable for your future. And take the time to get them to know them. Ask them how they got to where they are. Why that's important, because if you want to become a head professional, director of golf, or general manager, or even higher, it's important that you understand how the dynamics of the entire property work, and you have a friendship and a network with them. If you look, you don't just need to know where to look, and who to ask. And right there, the general manager, head professional, controller, super, chef, food and beverage director, fitness director, the list goes on and on. Anybody who's a department head at your facility, at your club or your resort, it's very, very important that you work with them. But if you're not working in meetings with them, spend some time with them. Ask them how they got to where they are and how they became successful in their position. You'll use those tools, those secrets, if you will, to help you with what you do. And you say, well, how can the food and beverage director help me be a better golf professional? Believe me, he or she can, because what they've done to get to that position in their career was exactly what you're probably doing right now. Is they asked for help. They learned from things, not just in their box, but outside of their box. And they networked, and they kept climbing up the ladder. You have to want to learn, and you got to make the time. You have to make it the time, and you've got to make, be thankful and return the ask. So if you say to your superintendent, to him or her, say, I'd like to spend half an hour with you at the end of the day today? Can you spare half an hour? Let's set up a time, sit down, and have some prepared questions. And if you don't know what questions you want to ask, call me, ask me. I can ask you what to ask your superintendent so you can learn more about what they do and how they do it. They may just volunteer a bunch of information too. You know, how did they get to where they are? What made them the top of the chain? How do they become a superintendent? What's the relationship with their head golf professional? You know, what are some of the challenges they face? Those are the kind of things that the more you learn at your own facility, when you continue to go to educational opportunities, if you want to become a certified PGA professional or a master professional, or with the CMAA, the golf course superintendents, the AGM now has certifications as well. These are the kind of things that you can learn from and grow from. But I would, again, Tom, it goes back to starting at your own facility and the people that surround you who are really good at what they do. And maybe you just didn't know a lot of their background. You'd be surprised some of the things you will find out and how close your relationships will get with that. So thanks for letting me share that.
Well, thank you, Ed. That's very insightful. And I wanted to just ask a question off of your answer. I know not too many PGA professionals with CCM certification, and you have it. How much of an impact has that made in your career by gaining that CCM certification?
Well, it's made a huge difference. You know, I think any letters you could put behind your name, MBA, BA, PGA, MP, Master Professional, Certified, CCM, that all makes a difference. And again, I reference back to my earlier comment about how to associate separate from themselves. How do PGA professionals separate themselves from others? It's education. And on paper, if I'm looking at a stack of resumes, like I said before, it makes a big deal if someone has more certifications, more education. It's really helped me a lot, Tom. And I'll tell you, it's another way that I was able to network. I networked through the CMAA. I joined the Golf Course Superintendents Association years ago as an assistant professional. Hold that slide there. And as an affiliate. And I paid the dues myself. It was $120 a year because I wanted to network more with superintendents. And, you know, I didn't get a chance to go to every meeting, but I found it very valuable. And as I continued to move my career in the direction that I wanted to go, which at the time when I was a young assistant, I thought I was going to stop at the director of golf position. And I didn't. And I was able to very fortunate to do many more things after my director of golf position and my head golf professional days. But that was only because of what I had done up to that point. And I worked hard both on and off the golf course, away from the facility, and networked. These are some books that are very helpful, that have helped me in my career in the golf industry. They're all found online: Contemporary Club Management, Accounting for Club Operations, Food and Beverage Management, the 5th edition, the 3rd edition of the Practical Golf Course Maintenance, and Fitness Management. You know, if you have no desire to become a general manager, does that mean you don't want to look at any of these books? I don't think so. I think, again, it only depends on how good you want to be at what you do. You look at some of the top PGA professionals in this country at whatever resort, club, daily fee they're at. I guarantee they're very well-rounded professionals. And what I mean is not just teaching and playing and merchandising. They have had experience or know about management. They know about financials. They know how to read a P&L statement. And that's important. They know about food and beverage. They may never had served in the kitchen. They may never have bartended. That's okay. But they understand the dynamics of the back of the house and the front of the house, and how that all works. And they have spent time with their food and beverage. They have spent time with their executive chef on different conversations other than just, you know, what's the special of the day for me for lunch? So, which we've all done that. Don't get me wrong. I love to see the specials days and go back in the kitchen when I was assistant professional. I thought I was in Candyland. I also said, never bite the hand that feeds you. So I made sure when I was in the kitchen, they were all my best friends at the time. So that's kind of my spiel, my long-winded answer, Tom, to your question about how important that certification is and what it can do for your career. It can change. The more you're educated you are, the better off you're going to be. And anybody who has that, I would say agrees with me 100%.
Yes, I think I completely agree with you. And one last question before we open up to the floor, and is more of a fun question, maybe not a fun question, but what was your favorite job and why?
In the golf business or out of the golf business? Actually, I'll give you both answers there. My favorite job was probably when I worked at the Bridges at Rancho Santa Fe, and I was able to be on the opening team. I opened the entire. We started in the maintenance building. We went to a temporary clubhouse. We opened the clubhouse. We opened the golf course. We hosted the Battle at the Bridges for 3 years, which was really special. I was given a tremendous amount of responsibilities with that event. And it was fun. It was fun the whole time, and exciting. And after I left that, during that time period, Tom, I thought that was what I was going to do. I would thought the rest of my career, whatever position I'm going to be at, director of golf, general manager, whatever, I'm going to go to a new golf course, open it up, 2 or 3 years, hire the staff, get all the policies and procedures, get the SOPs in place, and move on to the next property and move on to the next property. That didn't happen, but that was an exciting time. I just have to throw this up there too. For my non-golf favorite job was when I was in high school. I worked at the movie theaters, and I absolutely loved it because we get to see all the free movies we want. We can invite a friend to the movies. We got to see the Thursday night screenings before the movie came out. It was just fun. It was a fun job, if you will, and it didn't seem like a job because I was watching movies all the time. So.
I had all my friends working in the movie theater, so I was watching all the movies for free myself, so that's good. But Todd and Mark and Michael, I think it's Joe, who also joined the call. Maybe just, if you don't mind, just quickly giving you some background on yourself, and then if you have any questions for Ed, feel free to do so. Todd, can you give some background on yourself and get to know you a little bit better?
Well, I can reiterate a lot of what Ed just said. I've been very blessed in my job. I've run high-end privates, high-end resorts. I got to work with the USGA and run a Ladies United States Open in 2003 at Pumpkin Ridge. I used to work at Riviera Country Club and the PGA Tour for 10 years.
Wow.
And I run 54 holes, 36 holes. I know food and beverage really well. I worked with all the chefs and all the food and beverage directors, and done that, and worked with the membership directors and the catering directors. And I've really rounded everything in my career because I've wanted to, be the best, golf professional I could be. And people hired me because I had all that experience. And I've been really blessed at that. So I try to teach that to the apprentices that come work for me and show them how, if they want to go get further in their careers, just how you might want to do it. They've asked me that, and I tell them that, and I can tell you not many of them do it.
Why is that, Todd? Why is that not the case? I mean, that's kind of disappointing.
They don't think they need to do it. They don't think they need to learn food and beverage. They don't think they need to learn membership. They just don't think it, and it's unfortunate. I've tried to emphasize that. I've had an opportunity to open 3 golf courses. So I know how I wish that's all I did. I can relate to that because you write your own policies, procedures, and you can make it just what you wanted to make it. And you know when you open it that first day, what don't you have? Oh, I didn't order tees. I didn't order. There's so many things you don't know what it takes to open a golf course. And you learn that the first time you open your first golf course. So, and I've been blessed to do that 3 times. So for me, it's been wonderful for me. And
What?
people don't want to get involved. Like Ed said, they don't want to learn food and beverage. They just don't want to be a waiter for a day and learn what that's like, or work in the kitchen for a day. And I mean, I bust tables at private clubs when I first started in this industry. I want to know what's going on.
Todd, what advice do you have for associates now? I mean, it's a different generation. Obviously, every generation is different. And what we learned from the annual meeting just recently is that every generation is different. And it's important for us to recognize that and try to adapt to it. What advice do you have for associates who are going through a lot of challenging times with very busy work, personal lives and the cost, the time. It's a lot to get through to become a member. What advice do you have for them, Todd?
Just like Ed said, I emphasize, go work with the superintendent for a day, follow him around, learn what he does, so you can understand when you actually get to a position where you're a first assistant or a head professional, that when he starts telling you what certain diseases are and what he's doing, when he border cuts the grass, as a professional, I think you need to know that stuff. And if you sit at an interview, people are going to ask you that. I mean, I've interviewed people for head professional directors of jobs, directors of golf jobs, don't know any of that stuff, which is amazing that they got that far in their career, but it is true. And so I tell them, recommend them that they get more involved with the club they're in, with food and beverage, the golf course maintenance, and, you know, working every which way you can. So they understand the whole operation, not just bringing green fees up and selling a shirt to somebody. Golf is much more complicated than that.
Thank you for that, Todd. Mark, any advice for associates and anything you want to say?
I'll give you a quick background on me. I came up the way almost every golf professional does. I was an electrical engineer for quite a while.
Oh, wow.
And, so I got into the golf business later in life when I was 37. And so I had a need to go from zero to doing well so that I could replace the income that I chose to leave. And like both Ed and Todd have said, and a couple of things that they said that stand out the most for me is always, number one, get involved. My wife is a food and beverage director at a country club where I worked for quite a while. So automatically I get involved in that just because we have dinner conversation at night. And then I made the mistake of being hooped into being the host at a holiday function, which lasted about 8 years of every single special event, including one tonight, where I'm going to go check people in, and I don't even work at that club. I just happen to still know a ton of them. So when they say get involved, it doesn't mean that a lot of assistants, I think, get into the business thinking they're going to just play golf, work behind the counter for a little while, and they never have to know anything that F&B knows. I would, to put myself through school to get that engineering degree, I was a facilities director. So I can basically do any of the jobs on a property, but only because I've already done them. And I never thought, nor do I think, that there's a job too small. You know, like if a table needs moving, it's not call the maintenance guy, pick the table up and move it. Let them know that they didn't get it done perhaps, or you asked for it to be put up at a certain time and it wasn't done. Start looking for the table. Don't wait for somebody else to do it. And the amount of information that all of the generations after me, because I don't know what letters or nomenclature to use, but all of them, everyone seems to feel entitled to being promoted without doing a lot of, maybe not so much a lot of the work, but doing a variety of work. They just think because they've been there, they should be promoted, as opposed to, like Ed was saying and Todd was saying, the only way to do anything to move up is to differentiate yourself. And I was lucky enough sitting in like first and second chapter meetings. And one of the guys who was on the board said, you know, if you don't like what's going on, get involved. And at the time I didn't like what was going on. So I volunteered to get on the board, and you'd be surprised how quickly you get snapped up and put into every other position known to man. But all of that does exactly what I would say the most important thing in all of golf is networking. You can always educate yourself, but networking is far and away your best opportunity, because you never know who they know. And half the time, no different than just that introduction, you would have never had any idea any of those things I might have done before, just a golf pro, which quite frankly is by far the best job. And
I didn't expect these experienced professionals to be on the call today, but it's great. You guys are adding so much more flavor and color to it. So thank you. Michael, you want to add anything to what Todd and Mark just discussed?
Sure, I can add a little bit.
Are you a rock band? Because you see the guitar in the background.
No, that's my son's.
Oh, okay.
I'm sitting in his office basically.
Okay.
So I mean, for those of you who don't know me, I've always kind of been pretty quiet and flown under the radar in the section, but I was at La Costa Resort for about 15 years. I was the first assistant there for probably 6 and the head pro for almost 10. I was at Del Mar Country Club for the last 4 years, where I was basically the director / head pro, whatever the owner wanted me to be at the time. And now I'm at the Journey at Pachanga. My role there is actually kind of goes along with what you're talking about today. Tom, I think I met you at the there was the cup matches.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yes.
Yeah,
Michael.
couple weeks
Yes.
back, and I had the pleasure to meet and talk to Ed. I think it was during the teaching seminar too. So, but basically, my role here, working for Scott and for Bill, is to basically mentor these young assistants that are behind the counter. I kind of took the almost back way of doing things. So I was a head pro. I was basically in management before I was even a PGA member. I didn't get my PGA membership until I was a head pro for almost 7 years at La Costa. And a lot of that was because I didn't really have much guidance. I didn't have anybody to really walk me down the right path of getting everything done. And through the two last two gentlemen that spoke, the one thing I heard is that kind of false sense of entitlement that some of these guys have. They almost think they're gonna finish and get their car or be a PGA member and walk into a head pro job. So what I try to teach, my guys, whether it was at Del Mar or at La Costa, is to, they're gonna have to work their way up. You have to do the things that some guys just don't want to do. We have to jump out there and we have to wash carts and we've got to fold towels or do whatever it is that needs to be done to prove to the boss that we're able to move up. The other thing I tell them too is not only to get involved with section and chapter, but get involved at work. So don't be afraid to go and talk to the head pro or the director about hey, the financial. Some guys don't want to do it because they're scared that they're not going to share the information. But I think it's good if a pro, whether it's the head pro or the director, is open with that. I mean, obviously you don't want to give them too much information if you can't, but give them as much as you can to kind of get them prepared. Because when I took my first head pro job, I had no idea what was going on. So, I was kind of learning on the fly, which is kind of tough to do. So, in mentoring these guys, it's let them go with you on lessons, show them some of the financial stuff, give them some of the basic things, and then just encourage them too, to be involved at the club. And, I was kind of lucky to have that. I had PJ Tour experience too. We had the match play and everything at La Costa, so that was great. So, I get them involved in tournaments. Basically what I do is I'll put it all together and then I say, here, run with it, take it, do what you have to do. So, that would be pretty much all I really have is just, trying to take some of these young guys who, it's almost like they don't know how to get involved and just letting them get involved and getting them involved on the club level so they can kind of see what you do and how you do it. And that way, when they do leave, they're ready to go. They're ready to, take over their own shop.
That's great insights again. Thank you there, Michael.
Yeah.
Again, we're supposed to have one guest speaker today. Now we have 4 instead of 1, so this is great. Joe, are you there, Joe? Can you hear us? Joe Contreras? Okay. Aaron, are you there, Aaron? Any words from you, Aaron? All right, I guess not. Anyways, I just wanted to thank number one to Mr. Ed Winicki for joining the call today, and giving your insights on advancing your career as an associate. And I really want to thank also Todd and Mark and Michael for your input, which was not expected, but it was great to have it. I think all of you have brought some different but similar perspective on what it is that associates need to know, not only to become a member, but become leaders of our association. I've been in the industry for a short period of time, 4 years, 2 years as a member, 2 years as an associate, and I learned a lot. But I think the common answer to all of us is relationships. I am where I am today because of relationships. I've learned a lot from a lot of great people within our association. I learned a lot from you today, all four of you. And then that's what we need to continue to do, to learn. And then we pass that on to our young professionals, our associates, let them know that we care, we're here for them, and they're our future, so we want to invest in them. So that's what we're trying to do with not only the town hall, along with the mentorship program and the Launchpad, the 3 platforms we have for the SCPGA associates within our section. So we will continue to do that next year. And I really appreciate all of you for taking the time today to be on the call. Ed, go ahead, sir.
Tom, I got one last thing, if I can, please.
Sure.
I just want to say one of my favorite things that I like to quote is from Darwin, and it's so appropriate to what we do and how we do it as professionals every day, is it's not the smartest that will survive. It's not the strongest that will survive. It's the most adaptable. In our business, more than any other business, you have to adapt day after day after day, because it changes to the people around you. We're in the people business. Every person is a snowflake. We have to adapt every single day to our environment, to the people, and to our situation. So I truly believe the most successful people I follow that are the most adaptable.
Yeah, totally. Especially these days, Ed, with such fast changing times and trends and generations. So completely agree. Mr. Tom Addis, any any thoughts or feedback or comments?
Yeah, this has been, excuse me, I'm pretty hoarse. This has been really interesting to listen to everyone's, what everyone thinks in regards to involvement in the golf business. And I think that's what it is showing an interest in every phase of the business. And Ed Winicki's another good example, who's, whether he wanted to or not, has had different positions in the golf industry and learning from each position. I know Ed served as a tournament director for a Corn Ferry event for a season or two. And that's the great thing about the golf business and what we do, is it's so broad-based. And just like I'm doing now, I was at Singing Hills for 31 years as director of golf. Then I had my own business in golf management, and now I've been the executive director of the section for nearly 16 years. So to me, that just shows how broad-based our business is and how many opportunities are out there if you stick your toe into the water. You have to have interest. You have to have the motivation to do so, and you'll get there. And that's what I've enjoyed most about this business, and listening to you all this afternoon, the same thing.
Thank you, Mr. Addis. Those are very good words to listen to. Ms. Nikki Gatch, any last words before we close the call?
Thanks, Tom. I appreciate it. I've just enjoyed listening to all of you, hearing a little bit about your background, some of which I knew and some of which I didn't. So really interesting. And I think, again, like what Tom said, that's what makes our industry so special, is that there's so many things that we can do. And I know that's been a priority for us, and trying to educate our young people that we work with in junior golf on our junior tour, and educating them, especially young girls, but all of them, on all the career opportunities that are available in the golf industry. It's not just playing on the tour. It's not just giving lessons. It's a wide variety of career opportunities. So thanks for letting me sit in and listen. And Tom and Ed, thank you for your time today.
Thank you, Nikki. Before we close call, Todd, Mark, Michael, any last words before we end the call? Or Joe, if you want to say something, go ahead, Mark.
Just really quickly, along the lines of what we've been talking about, if you look at Mr. Winicki, head professional, director of golf, CCM, career services, Mr. Addis, director of golf, own business. Now he's the executive director. Nikki Gatch, assistant pro, course owner, SCPGA president. I mean, Mr. Conley opened 3 different properties. I mean, that speaks volumes to exactly what all of us have been talking about the entire time. There's a million ways to be a golf pro, and all of them are really, really cool.
That's well said, Mark. I think those words will hopefully ring loud in the ears of our associates. I know we don't have a big lot of. Jose, Joe, are you an associate or a member?
Associate still, yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I couldn't get my mic working.
You're the one and only all-star today. I don't know how much of the call you heard, but any feedback from you, Joe, as an associate, from all these great words of wisdom from our esteemed professionals?
Yeah. First, I just want to say thank you everybody who on the call today for sharing all the wisdom. I think the main theme, kind of what Ed was talking about, in regards to learning from all kinds of different, department heads at your own club. It kind of struck confidence in me, because I feel like I've been trying to do something similar to that. I've talked to the F&B director, the general manager, even the wedding sales directors. Everybody's got their own little wisdom. So it's been a fun journey while I've been here. I'm here at Vista Valley Country Club. I'm actually wrapping up my shift right now, but yeah, I'm just super grateful to be a part of this community. Everybody that I've met, I've met a couple of you guys on the call, seen you guys at the meetings, chapter meetings. So I'm just trying to continue to network and meet as many people as I can meet. But I'm super grateful for these kind of opportunities, these meetings. So thank you, everybody.
Joe, thank you. I met you at the chapter meeting, I think recently, and if you need any assistance, please reach out to me. I'm here for you. Thank you for joining the call today. I know you're on shift, but you made a sacrifice to join and listen, and hopefully it was helpful. And we want you to become not only a member, but the future leader of our association. So let us know if you need anything from us.
Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it.
And to the rest of you, again, thank you so much. I learned a lot today. It's been great listening as well for me. And thanks for your time. And we'll continue this in 2022. Want to wish you and your loved ones a happy holidays. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Happy
everybody.
Holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays.